A wife complaining about an extremely stingy husband makes him a failure in Islam. Now, I agree to the extent that a man who's going to withhold his earnings and wealth and resources from properly taking care of his family in terms of him providing would be a failure, I think. I'd even go as far as to say that if he is earning a substantial amount and still offers the very little or is cheap in that regard, I'd consider him selfish and again a failure. However, I would say that with a lot of these sisters, and especially those living in Western society, um, or those who take on these feminist ideas, tend not to grasp the reality of what it actually means to be a husband, and particularly a Muslim husband. A Muslim husband who takes his role very seriously, one who understands the rights and responsibilities over him, which is generally to lead, protect, provide, and to look after. While importantly, he does his regular prayers, fasts, zakat, and so on and so forth. So while he is perhaps conservative with his earnings, for the majority of the time, it's because he cannot get his finances wrong. Getting his finances wrong won't only affect your rights over him, should he fail to provide, your basic needs, but will ultimately cause you to lose faith in him as a provider. And the extent of this is your request for a khul or the permission for divorce. So spending on things that are not of that much concern to please your fancies and whims while simultaneously scraping by to put food on the table is even more of a failure on his part. I mean, what about supporting, supporting a husband through perhaps a difficult time? I mean, what is the definition of stingy? You see, this white picket fenced, lavish suburban lifestyle with the, I don't know, international trip every year or so for holiday is for the most part your standard. This is what you want. This is nothing less, basically. And if he cannot maintain or even provide this lifestyle, then he is considered stingy, cheap, broke, or simply not good enough. Unfortunately, this lifestyle is simply unattainable for most men nowadays, right? This is the reality. And if it is that you are seeking that high end earning man who happens to be around less than, I would say, 10 to 20% of the available dedicated Muslim men, that's besides the other requirements that you have on your list, which is probably to be good looking, tall, his beard need to connect, so on and so forth, then I'd say prepare for polygamy, share him. So, sisters, your materialistic and consumeristic outlook on life is the issue. And this is not to say that men don't suffer from this attributes as well, but it is within a different context due to the fact that they are expected to provide. This is also not to say that men should not do their best in terms of doing well in their businesses, in their jobs, and so on, obviously via halal means. By the way, do you sisters really understand the global economic crisis our generation is experiencing? Don't let social media and Netflix and these series and movies and so on fool you to think that those lifestyles you see is the reality of the majority.